Okay, yes indeed. Hello everybody. Welcome to the third edition of the second edition of the DGG Open tournament, which is to say we are here at round 3. We have 4 contestants left. Let's take a look at the bracket to see what is going on. Okay, so let's start from where we're currently at. We have these 4 contestants here. Left Hook versus Arisdina, and Stoic Rooster versus Agent Cypher. And to get here, we can see that Poncho Mango was defeated by Left Hook. Our previous champion is out now at the round of 8. We'll see if Left Hook can carry the torch all the way to the end. He'll be facing Arisdina, who already knocked out Snowy Youngin and AWX Angel. Arisdina being the mystery seed. I accidentally seeded them as a low seed when they should have gotten the high seed. And they are just tearing up the tournament. We have got Stoic Rooster as well, who has been co-casting for the first round. And he is facing Agent Cypher, who has taken down Steph Donhart and my boy Modius. Well, Modius was taken down by Steph. But the succession is... we have these generals in the final. This graphic is also available on the Discord if you want to see which are the most popular minions or what the count of generals are for each of the rounds. But we are going to start with the Left Hook versus Arisdina, and let's see what kind of decks they're rolling. Yeah. So this is a best of 3, and you cannot win with the deck that you just won with. So they're going to have to pick at least 2 decks to roll in with. And as they get a game, I'll mark them like this, so we can see which ones are remaining, and we can come back to this list to see what's going on. Left Hook, we can see, has the wizard build on the left here with a couple boars, mostly spell damage, gets in with some backstab action or some double ranged action. Cassie's here for the creep plan, standard late game. Argion's here with 2 Saber Spines, which makes up Left Hook's lineup pretty solid. 1 Decimate is something to watch out for and play around. Arisdina, on the other hand, rolling in with Vanar, 1 Abyssian as well, and also a Riva. This Riva has a few more minions and a bit more reliance on those. And of course we got some spicy stuff here in the middle with Grimes and right at the Undervault. Hopefully we'll be able to see some Abyssian action. We even have the new unit here, the Abyssian Noble. Very cool oversized unit. Let's see if it makes a splash. Without further ado, let's get to the matches. First up, Left Hook, Arisdina. Alright. Arisdina with the cool double banners is here with Faye. Gonna nuke from far away. Facing Left Hook, who's just jamming on his phone. Left Hook is gonna want to definitely dispel some nasty targets here. Thunderhorn is actually sometimes too fast to dispel, but we'll see what happens. Opening up with the Crypto is one of the best Vanar turn 1s you can do as Faye, because it means your next turn you can just nuke with the Warbird. It kind of puts you on the spot to do that though, because it's going to refresh next turn anyway. Taking the top mana, so maybe has a 5 mana turn in play. Okay, it's going to be just a Thunder in the back and not denying the mana tile. which means left hook gets a Le Tigris for free. But is it really free? Because Thunderhorn is free. Brawler's here to hit twice. Notably, it survives Thunderhorn. So we can see the combo piece here already. If you transform something into a battle pet, it's just gonna walk up to Thunderhorn and hit it, which could trigger a pretty big combo. Excellent option of unsummoning with the Hailstone Prison to just kill it outright. If you see your opponent has 6 of 6 cards in hand, you can just do that. It turns Hailstone into quite the kill spell. And it could happen again, potentially, with Le Tigris here. And the only counterplay to it is to play 2 things at once. So perhaps we're going to see a Silverguard Knight and a Dispel. This is some really good unit spacing, though, so this 2x2 Dispel can't hit multiple things. Le Tigris in a pretty good spot, just slightly back far enough that Thunderhorn can't hit it. It's probably going to get polymorphed into a pet, though. Pet polymorph is pretty strong, but it's going to get swapped away. Okay, so perhaps Erisdina is considering using Hearth Sister to get the Thunderhorn in range. It's not very mana efficient though, but you can still use Warbird twice, so maybe it's fine. Maybe the play is take 1 step down, swap Le Tigris into the same column. Yeah, Hearth Sister seems pretty good here. This must be why the aspect was swapped. Erisdina's really pushing the damage, and left hook is not finding much for healing options. Left hook doesn't have Circle of Healing or the Sundrop Elixir. Relying on like Scintilla for healing, or perhaps Aperion's Claims circles. Sunset Paragon is a pretty fine play. Takes out a minion that it usually doesn't. Other option is Warbird. Warbird. This thing down. More Warbird. It's pretty hard for left hook to avoid damage because this provoke doesn't even do it, and this cat isn't quite here in time, or rather it can't do anything. You can start getting yourself regeneration by way overkilling this minion, the 7 cost spell. But it seems like the better play is to just drop your Silver Guard Knight, drop the Brawler, mana efficiency, or drop the Saber Spine and try to attack. You generally don't want to attack with your general when it's this low against this general. Okay, so Provoke is kind of like giving yourself hit points. And this Brawler does threaten a ton of damage. Aristina's got a really nice hand, though. It's almost lethal, too, because EMP can turn off the Dispel, or even an Unsummon can turn off the Dispel. Okay, or the Provoke here can just be solved. It looks like Aristina's got this in the bag right here. You play the spell, you play the Cryptographer. What? I don't know why that one got unsummoned. I feel like the 3 damage could have been thrown into here, and then 2 damage from the general, and 2 more damage from refreshed BBS, thanks to Crypto, would be lethal, but Aristina is looking for a different route to victory. This is a ton of damage right here. Oh, triple Warbird! What a spectacle, and with that, Aristina takes game 1. Powerful stuff. Let's take a quick look at this again. So from this list, we are not going to be seeing any more Fae. But this does put Aristina up 1. 0 to 1. Maybe we'll go like this. 0, 1. Okay, so Aristina is going to be pulling out a Riva or a Maeve, and left hook has any of these options again. Let's see what they do in game number 2. And we are off to the races. GLHF. Okay. Aristina, now with the very deadly Riva. It has answers to big minions, and it pushes a ton of damage. Left hook gonna tough it out with more Argion, the general for gamers. defensive Windblade adept, so it doesn't die super easily. Riva probably doesn't want to mess with it. If you're playing Zerastina, you probably don't take 2 steps left and drop something on the mana tile to deny it. Especially when you have a great artifact equipped. Might as well keep it going. Either of these minions are good because they both hand off a spell and can both go for this diagonal mana. So you probably drop a minion diagonal of your general and then move up. Or Riva doesn't actually need the mana now, so probably just a minion either to protect it or right in front. Okay, defensive plays. These whole boulders are just great. This one actually just hits for 2. Really nice thing to have when you can amplify damage. This Riva list does not run Mantra, but it does run 8 gates. The Tigris is down, going for the man himself now. You'll be able to swarm the board with a second Tigris next turn. It's probably time to burn the Onyx Bear Seal on it, because this is the most threatening minion. Just gonna slash the swordsman. Strong stuff. Bloodseer is so good against Riva, you basically never want to replace it against her. Perfect thing for sniping Heartseekers. The Tigris number 2 is going to be a lot harder for Aristina to deal with. This deck only has 2 copies of Onyx Bear Seal, so it's a 1 in 30 chance to find it, and it was a miss. Spear is good to have though, because these Thunder Bombs, actually Gotatsu plus Boulder Hurdle would be lethal on the Tigris. I'm feeling that's a play. You just get the spear, throw a Ninja Star at it. Goes for the full board clear, which puts Left Hook in a pretty bad spot. Decimate wasn't doing anything. These Tempests are actually decent. They're good for shutting away this armor. Goes for his own armor. Aristina's gonna need 3 spells to crack this armor for free. And there's one here. Oh, and it can be really buffed. So now there's 8 gates out for a lethal option. Huh. Not just going for the mana tile. The mana would allow Storm Sister to come out, but maybe it's time for a Cryptographer or just the Heartseeker. Might as well cast both because this is not recharging next turn. Yeah. Spiral Technique. Pretty incredible Tempest there, but attacking now will take the Regalia off. So probably not worth it. It's like a 2 extra hit point buff. Which is necessary considering this Songhai hand. It's looking like left hook has lethal damage next turn, but EMP is going to shut some damage down. This big cat again. Slightly too awkward. Instead opting to use the Spelljammer to draw more solutions, finds a heal and a provoke, so that's some pretty nice cards to rip off of Spelljammer. But we see an EMP within striking distance, and we see a Spiral Technique in the hand. But we're going to replace anyway. Yeah, this EMP is almost in striking distance. Geomancer and Phoenix Fire clear the way. So it's down to just Spiral Technique to finish it off. Which means left hook has to race for damage at this point. Left hook. The Saber Spine costs so much mana. But it seems too valuable to replace, so it seemed like the play is play with the small creatures. You would have to place the provoke creature down here to stop Geomancer from clearing it. Pretty nasty situation to navigate. Okay, yeah, it goes for the 2/3 drops. I don't know about putting the Silverguard Knight over here, because this gives Songhai the option of what to kill it with. Which means Geomancer will kill it. Game over. Ooh, and with that, Erisdina advances to the finals. Congratulations, Erisdina. Let's make it official. Left hook has been eliminated. 0-2. Which means we got Stoic Rooster and Agent Cypher coming up. Stoic Rooster rolling in with... Got a Brome to slow things down, to tank it out. Pretty sustainable. A lot of spells, 3 EMPs. We've got the Argeon Classic. This one's rolling with some Dioltus and some Swarm of Avengers. Quite nice. And the only Xerix in the tournament. Maybe be able to take a win for Vitruvian. Over here, Agent Cypher, Songhai Lionar. And this Lionar is actually a mechanical Lionar, so we may be seeing Mechazor. This is a pretty good and pretty solid Reaver list, similar to what we saw. And the Shaddai list goes on forever. A lot of one-ups. And what's this doing in here? Mobius is here. Interesting choices. Maybe we can see it. Alright. Starting game 1 of the semifinals of DGG number 2. Let's get to it. And check it out. Not only is it a Lionar Ditto, but we got Mech versus Golem. Sort of. Stoic Rooster versus Agent Cypher, best of 3, game number 1. Very different Lionar decks. Stoic Rooster should be fine in this matchup, because this removal is so hard. Martyrdom is probably never going to be replaced, and is just going to be snapcasted on Mechazor as soon as it shows up. And the counter to that is this Aegis barrier here. So if you have 1 extra floating mana, you just put a bigger shield on it, and then that could be enough to actually clutch out the game. Because then it gets really hard for Brome to remove something. It would have to come down to EMP doing work. Agent Cypher's got 2 minions to choose between, and which do you choose? The bigger one with the slashy keyword, or the guy with the gun? Choice is obvious. Oh, hard removal on the ranged minion. Going for the full mana block. Chassis of Mechazor can now block this bottom mana tile. Pretty strong stuff that prevents Stoic Rooster from just getting a blue Conjure. Lionar is pretty good with the mech package considering the spell quality. Also, creatures with keywords are great to give the roar to. With a step like this, it's possible to go Blood Tier Holy Immolation, or Blood Tier Lasting Judgment, or whatever we're doing here. Yeah, that works. Silver's here to hand off all keywords. Doesn't do a lot. So Agent Cypher doesn't really want to Trinity Oath here, because that would max his hand out. And then even casting an Aegis Barrier after that, it's still maxed. So maybe just dropping the creatures better. You've run out of time to drop your sword. Okay, he's just gonna put it back there. This has got decent damage, but without having a ranged minion on the team, this silver isn't super impressive. Handing off Frenzy doesn't mean much. And funny thing, Aegis Barrier does not hand off a keyword, so silver doesn't hand it off. But in Duelist 2 they did keyword this. They called it Veil. Strong Holy Ammo play, clears the board, Mechazor's coming. Check this out, Oakenheart has progressed Mechazor on opening Gambit. This is perfect. So if this gets dropped on the mana tile, then Aegis Barrier can be dropped on Mechazor too. However, we can see this Hyperion's Claim. Pretty sure this is going to go right through the force fields. I feel like you just do it though. Yeah, here it is. Point blank Mechazor. And he's got a shield. So unfortunately, for Agent Cypher. But this spell doesn't target. So I think Stoic Rooster's just fine. That said, he's actually short on mana and can't cast it right now. So maybe he's not just fine. You can create a taunt unit that's gonna help. And use the Blood Tear to wall. That should be enough. Yeah. Mechazor can't get in now. Well. Okay, well, Mechazor gets 1 slash. It's no big deal. Nice to see a cannon of Mechazor finally. This thing combined with Sliver turns your whole team into Mechazor, basically. Let's see if that happens. Agent Cypher is not as dead as he looks with the 2 Trinity Oaths. Casts one of them, gets a full grip. Might as well start progress on Mechazor number 2. It's got 3 mana in hand and has the choice between gun and sword, which of course is the obvious choice. Well, this looks like a good turn for Claim, but it's also a decent turn for EMP. Decimate almost works. EMP, probably the best bet. Generates you a board. No, this Mechazor has to walk in and punch. And Silver shows up but doesn't do anything. Well, I say that, but Silver could absolutely just have haste with Metal Tooth out. And it's Agent Cypher's turn, so he could actually do that. The 8 mana play. Metal Tooth comes out. Never mind, we're not doing that. Pretty good holy ammo. Gets rid of the big boy. Falls back to his own. Interesting movement here. This is actually necessary to keep Mechazor from dying to the 1 Decimate that Stoic Rooster has. So pretty strong to play around that. Trinity Oaths back to a full grip, and I guess it has to be a Regalia turn. That's the only forward progress option. The Sunset Paragon is really nice to get, because it'll clean up this mech. So the usual plan with this Brome deck is you just grind through every card in their deck. And you can get them in the late game. But Mech has crazy power spikes between Silver and Mechazor. This is definitely a dream placement for this pony. Lots of Trinity Oaths. Since both these decks are running 3 Trinity Oaths, neither of them are actually running any Spelljammers. Agent Cypher thinking what to do with his final 2 mana. It is Wings of Mechazor. Mechazor is coming 80%. Stoic's probably just going to want to use the claim on the second Mechazor. Use the Sunset Paragon on these guys. Maybe replace the Decimate? Nope, gonna keep the Decimate in case it kills a Mechazor. Healing Potion's pretty necessary, because this thing could just come out with Rush at any point. This is a interesting move. Conscript gets placed behind Brome instead of in front, so it doesn't have a keyword. Usually you do this when you're playing around Backstab. So the only thing that progresses the Mechazor build is this Oaken Heart. Probably worth it. Because Oaken Heart this turn and a Silver next turn, I think, is lethal. Well, assuming they wouldn't just get annihilated by Brome's cool spell suite. Pumped up Litigris. Keeping the threat of Mechazor active. EMP is really nice to see late game. Could be time to drop a blue Conjurer and start making fake units. Or Litigris is slightly too big to kill with the Circle of Life. And Decimate still doesn't do anything. EMP, it destroys his own Regalia. But it gives him a 2-turn lethal. Sort of. Well, stalling Mechazor turned out to be a really good play, because otherwise it just would have been hit by EMP. Well, the EMP is a massive threat. It's probably Mechazor time. I can actually get a +1/+1 from this Oakenheart as well. The real question is, do you drop a Metal Tooth out? Because this could benefit from the buff, but it's such a strong combo piece with silver, maybe you keep it a secret. Okay, this is a kill on EMP with Holy Immolation. It's worth it. It's probably Mechazor time, right? Just drop a helm? Guess not. Agent Cypher keeping his cards in hand, not just slamming them down, which is going to be to his benefit, considering how huge these removal spells are. But if he goes too slow, then Stoic Rooster peels into the lead, thanks to this blue Conjurer. This will just hand off so many high quality units. Might as well get it rolling now. So he can make a small unit, and then have 3 mana left over for whatever this spits out. Or he can cast this. Sunstrike pretty nice. Healing and harm. You'll be pretty happy to get this Adjudicator as well. Cost reduction might allow some more kind of turns. Agent Cypher is just exhausting Stoic Rooster of a removal before he drops the Mechazor. Just dropping bomb after bomb. I guess the claim finally has to be used on the back end, because you don't want your blue Conjurer to die in 2 turns. It's so weird that Stoic Rooster decided to summon this one without provoke. So, moment of truth. Does Le Tigris get hit? Also, somehow the web captioner knows what Le Tigris is. Excellent. Just like it knows all about Klaxon. Next free card is Lightbender. Sun Drop Elixir is incredible because it gives you even more free stuff. Agent Cypher's having this game slowly slip away from him. Maybe he was playing too slow. This real Latigris is quite good. Just kills this Scintilla for free. Next turn it gets +2 attack and then one-shots the Blue Conjurer. It has to be removed. So there's no opportunities to drop this Lightbender to silence the Latigris in the back. He has a lot of hit points to work with though. As soon as he runs out of hard removal though, game gets way harder. Agent Cypher just biding his time till he gets this silver combo down. Taking every second to think out this one. Just runs out the clock. Stoic are finding more healing. Doesn't need it. He might just, yeah, Scintilla and then Lightbender, so this is a good silence. Gets rid of the nasty keyword and the extra damage. And more importantly, keeps his Blue Conjurer alive. And his hard removal in hand for Mechazor. Move, using it to heal up before silencing it. Mage Sworn. This is not the deck for it. Mechazor on the back. This one dies to a Decimate. So Stoic Rooster should be just fine with this. Metal Tooth. Silver? It's time! Everything has haste, everything has ranged, everything has cleave. This table is getting thrown right up at Stoic Rooster's face. This game was going so good. But Silver's a crazy card and is the actual power of the mech deck. Eek. Fortunately, Decimate still deals with the board. Incredible card right here. Game is saved. Boom, the reset. Okay, and just like that, Stoic's back in it. He didn't want to do that. Was he considering dropping a Tempest? Leaving Metal Tooth alive may have been a mistake, because now it can just get popped up. And it has all these keywords! Oh no, he did have a chance to kill it with Tempest. Silver's buffs are permanent. Which means if a second silver shows up, it suddenly continues the keyword frenzy. Mini Mechazor pretty strong, pretty annoying. Stoic Rooster's probably gonna Blood Tier plus Tempest just to kill one minion. He's not gonna have the option to if Oakenhit Heart comes down though. These guys are gonna deck themselves at this rate. Mechazor number 3 coming. Oh, this Metal Tooth running away with the game. Now it's not even an easy kill. What, are you really gonna drop your Mechazor killer on it? Now Blood Tier's too slow. Okay, well, kills the biggest dude. Which turns off the buff, which makes this play lethal again. Okay, so we can finally clear this nasty minion. But it's down to one final card. This is a good final card to have though. So Stoic should be okay. Agent Cypher probably just gonna sit on the healing circle. It's not his though. Swaps away Metal Tooth, gets a line. He's running 3 copies of silver, so he'll find more of them eventually. He's just gonna keep fishing until he does. Huh. Wings, huh? Okay, Oath found some sweet stuff. Argion's so close to lethal, just needs to do the final bits of damage somehow. If he can get point blank, then the Regalia starts crushing. This is a really annoying thing to fight though, so maybe Pony to clear the robot is what's in order. Yep. Check out this horse is amazing. Trinity Oath gets a lucky sentinel. Probably looks to block the circle. Seems better than hiding in the corner. Okay, doesn't want the cat. And he is gonna stay in the corner, which gives Stoic the option of healing up. Most of his deck is gone. He's gonna have a pretty good idea of what he would replace into. Blue Conjurer is nice, but it needs to proc immediately. Which could be either the Holy Immo, or it could be summoning the 1/2. Other option is he gets a Regalia, clears the Sentinel. He can even go Regalia and Conjurer. Yeah. This looks good. Still anyone's game. Jesus, one hell of a game one that these guys are having. I think the other entire series wrapped up in the time that this one game went down. Oakenheart with a barrier. Barrier doesn't actually do anything now, but it could protect it from like a circle of healing if that ever showed up. Stoic Rooster's got a hard choice. What to do? If he opens with his BBS, gets a free minion. This claim probably still needs to be held. Finds a Mage Sworn, immediately replaces it. Gonna be drawing that at some point. Puts the conscript below him. And goes for the very awkward Holy Immo. It's nice that it pushes general damage, but it's one off of killing this Oaken. I guess the general has to finish it off, right? Can't risk that it gets healed up. Which we can see Agent Cypher can do. Other option is Tempest can blast everything. Prismatic Illusionist, really nice for late game. Notably, Agent Cypher is much more at threat of decking himself. So if Stoic Rooster can really drag it on another 7 turns, he's going to be running away with it. Okay, finishes the 1 minion off. Pays for it with his health bar. Pesky Mage Sworn shows up again. Does them a lot more harm than help. Agent Cypher has a lot of in-hand damage, but probably wants to get the force fields out first. Double Regalia is gonna hurt so much though. He's basically dead next turn, unless he can solve it. Wings put there means that he can't take 2 steps left anymore. So that may have cut down his options. And he's in more danger than he knows, because this Tempest is another 2 points of secret damage. Goes for the hasty Metal Tooth. Goes for silver. Time for the full combo. So everything is hasted, and he can pierce this armor of Brome's. Okay, he messed up a little bit. If he did that the other way around, he could have pierced first. Which leaves him with 2 pips. That's just lethal. They both come down and slash him. Stoic Rooster! Taking game 1. Congratulations, Stoic. Since it's been forever since we've looked at the deck lists, let's flip over to that for a second. Stoic, we are not going to be seeing any more of his cool Brome deck. Puts him at a 1-0 advantage though. Next up we could be seeing the return of Mech. Perhaps some Riva, perhaps some Shidai. I am interested in Shidai's weird minion list, because we've got stuff like Mobius in here. Meanwhile, Stoic Rooster is going to have a very standard looking Archeon list for us with some cool mid-range options. Or we're going to see some Grapnel and Xerix, if you can believe it. Carried by the cat. Yeah! Alright. Flipping on over to game number 2 of Stoic Rooster versus Agent Cypher 19. GLHF, here we go. Stoic Rooster opting for more Archeon, or he's switching to it rather. And Shidai here. Agent Cypher looking for maybe some 8 gates. This Shidai list actually doesn't have 8 gates. He's more reliant on his cool minions. Stoic Rooster, we see this Ironcliff Guardian, 10 hit points, but doesn't actually have any copies of the spell Bond. Or Divine Bond, or Divine Lethargy to hand off a gigantic attack. Which seems like it would be really good with like a Dioltis. Swap away the big stuff. Healing Mystic turn 1's pretty fine. The only downside to Healing Mystic turn 1 is if you heal your opponent, they don't get healing particles in their face. You can't tell who was healed. Shidai probably going to take a diagonal step and drop. Oh, we're doing offensive plays. Mana Forger and the Phoenix Fire to follow it. You could even teleport this if you so wanted, but it's gonna chill. Mana Forger's pretty threatening, so gotta take it out. Stoic Rooster can't get too attached to his creatures though, because they could just be turned into a panda at any moment. Could take the mana tile. He'd probably do it just to deny it. Prismatic in the back, diagonally. Protects it from everything. Not even dropping it. Interesting choice. Valuing having a good hand instead of just getting everything down. Playing around AoE. It's actually good that he didn't drop it because this Lightbender would have ruined their fun. Nice formation, Blood Tier to finish off the Scroll Bandit. Sworn Avenger is going to get big. Pretty good surround, there's no escape. Might be worth it to just panda the archer. Or just throwing a fireball at it. Agent Cypher doesn't want to get pushed into the corner, so he's just gonna stay his ground. Stoic Rooster's got quite the death grip. Could drop a Litigris. Seems like the best play. Other play being you drop a lion and you pump it up. But this summons lions every turn. Stoic might be considering... Okay, gonna fade away the Sentinel to keep it alive. Or to keep the Litigris really far back. Takes one step down with the Cub, or two. Plays around a lot of AoE. Or maybe even goes for the mana with it. No, 2 steps down. And that way it can't get picked off by a Thunder Bomb. 6 mana turn. It's too bad that Agent Cypher doesn't have Tygon of the cool dragon, but that was only introduced recently. The Citron Dragon, I think it was. Prismatic Illusion's nice. Gets to start generating units. Stoic's not gonna mind because I've got a Lightbender. Other option is you can nuke it with a Holy Immolation. Oh, this looks like a holy immolation nuke. Yeah. Boom! That needs a sound effect. Might as well just crash in units, or just gonna hold them here for better positioning. Makes things pretty awkward. Agent Cypher replaces, finding Goltatsu. There are a lot of one-ofs in his deck, so maybe this toolbox can get there. Albie Sage at least pumps itself up. Yeah, it's a good thing too, because now it's so tanky, it can only be dealt with by dispelling it. Check it out! There's a copy of Divine Bond in Steelgruiser's deck. It's got 2 of them. Which is fantastic with those Iron Cliff Guardians we saw earlier. As is, it just does a 2 hit point or 2 attack bump. Necessary dispel there. Otherwise, every single minion would become as invincible. Oh, gonna strike for 6? That's how the health bar gone. Secret damage from Divine Bond could get there. 4 Winds Magi can heal Agent Cypher up a bit. Other option is dropping a Painter, which is not good. The spacing is a little too strong. And this Owl being only down to 3 hit points suddenly matters a lot for the Lightbender matchup. Best bet seems to be drop the Magi, cast as much as you can. Does a little bit of healing. Moves out of range of Lightbender. Not much can hit. Ooh. Divine Bond can hand off 1 extra attack damage for this cat. That plus Roar. This thing could hit for 5. Lightbender hitting the 4 Winds Magi really strong. Stoic probably going to look to do a full clear on the board. Whoa! Okay, using the Lightbender to keep Shaddai from running away. Takes out the mana while he does it. And then this cat can flank. So Stoic is just out of range of a spiral bolt if something like that came off the top. Pretty good place to be. His final card is a lion. Agent Cypher is going to have to replace. Finds a not great card. You can technically reactivate Painter to just kill off this Lightbender. Leaves him with a Painter. And you can take an extra step. Okay, well this beats death. The key is getting away from this cat. One point away from lethal. Stoic can't get the kill just yet. Oh, powerful cat. Just take him to 1? It's gotta be. And then here's the Joltis in your face to deal with. Which gives Agent Cypher 1 turn of taking 2 steps left and dropping a Spelljammer, which pulls out 2 things. Oh, getting a backstab card is really lucky, because that gives him another option. You can get rid of this Dio. Decides against it. Playing for the long game, unfortunately draws the Assassination Protocol, not gonna help. Just like this Gotatsu here. Probably looks to... hard to replace. Meanwhile, Stoic Rooster, what a top deck. Stoic Rooster probably just drops the Ironcliff Guardian diagonally, so it can't get backstabbed, and then looks to trade. That works pretty well too. Wait, this Dio surely can't attack already. It moved here. 1 step away from getting a lethal swing, though. I guess Gotatsu has to be the replace, because Agent Cypher needs an answer now. If it's a Celestial Phantom, it can at least be assassinated, or it can assassinate the Guardian. Although this deck doesn't run those. Doesn't have multiple Panda Painters either. Replaces and finds a Jux. Jux does give him a little bit of time. Kotetsu here doing a lot of work too. Stoic Rooster now under the time pressure to get in before Agent Cypher starts ripping off some gigantic nukes. Spiral techniques coming. Stoic just off of lethal. Needs one more point. Goes for the vice grip. This is a remove or die. Need an OBS or something. Okay, so Agent Cypher's accepting he's gonna get bonked for 3 damage, and is building the best board he can in spite of that. Little does he know, his opponent, with this holy immolation in the hand, that's it. Good game. 3 damage bonk, 4 damage spell. And with that, your second finalist is Stoic Rooster. Yeah. Congratulations on your victory. Let's have one last look at this bracket. Left Hook was slain by Arisdina O2. Stoic Rooster defeats Agent Cypher O2. Yeah, so our finals looks like Arisdina versus Stoic Rooster. The unseeded participant that was actually top 20 all along versus the bro who helped me cast the gigantic day of games. Yeah. Let's see if Vanar, Abyssian, Songhai can beat Linar Vitruvian. And I'll post the replays for these in the channel now, and I'll post the bracket update in about a day and give the players however much time they need, because they have a best of 5 ahead of them. So they're going to need to get a win on all 3 of their decks. Yes, indeed. Well, I hope you all have had a lot of time watching, had a lot of fun time. But I am out for now. GG's. Wait a sec. We will not, in fact, be right back. We'll be back in maybe a week or 2. And then after that, we'll look into getting DGG number 3, where we're probably going to have a different format involving sideboards, perhaps. But we'll get there when we get there. We'll see who wins this one first.